If you don't understand the stuff I reveal in this video, your vocals are gonna sound like you recorded them on a microwave. You'll have a bunch of noise in the background of your recordings. You'll think you'll need a better mic, wasting money when really all you needed was to learn how to record properly. The good news is you're here, so watch this video to the end and you won't have these problems anymore. Before we dive headfirst into the dark depths of recording, I have a question for you. Question is, what is the most important effect you need to have clean sounding vocals? Comment down below with your answer. If you don't know, don't worry, I'll be revealing the answer later on in the video, so stay tuned. Let's get into it. First step is pop shield positioning. You want your pop shield to be one fist away from your mic. Second step is your vocalist positioning. Vocalist is the person who's going to be talking into the mic. At this point, you want your vocalist to be one fist away from the pop shield. Okay, I'm a little bit more than a fist away so that the mic doesn't cover my face as I'm recording this video, but if I was recording a song, I'd be closer. I'd care more about the audio levels and all that sort of stuff, because that's more important when I'm recording a song than when I'm recording a video. With a video, the audio is kind of secondary. It's still important, but much more important when you're recording a song. Step number 3, how loud should your input levels be? This is very, very important, because wrong input levels is probably causing you a bunch of issues if you don't know where they should be. Now, your input levels should be hitting -12. Now, you can look on your audio interface to see where that's hitting, and you can look in your DAW to see where that's hitting as well. But your raw audio vocals should be hitting -12 max. You generally don't want it to be going over that, and you don't want it to be too low under that. The reason why you don't want it too high over that is because that will get dangerously close to clipping. Clipping's bad vibes. You don't want to be clipping your vocals when you're recording them. Now, adding distortion later on and adding clipping as a stylistic choice is something that you want to have the choice to make, but you don't want that to be happening when you're recording. Also, if your vocals are too low, below -12, then you'll be very close to the noise floor. The noise is the background noise of the room. You probably don't realize this because I will have cleaned up these vocals post editing or in post production, but my computer is humming its ass off like a slave picking cotton right about now. But you won't hear that because the noise floor is lower than the audio levels that I'm recording at. Don't have your vocals too low, don't have them too high, have them at -12. That's where you want to be hitting. That's the sweet spot. If you want to have your vocals half mixed before you even get to the mixing stage, have your vocals sounding Spotify ready, grab my Spotify ready vocal mixing template. Link down below, go to jcarterray.com/vocal templates. This also comes with a PDF that walks through all the effects that I use for my vocals so that you can use those settings on whatever plugin you want if you don't have the same plugins that I use. But I do suggest you grab the same plugins that I use because they're very good. That's why I use them. Link down below, grab that ASAP. You won't be disappointed. Let's get back into it. Step number 4, turn off your fans, turn off your lights, close the window. These are things you need to do to make sure you're not introducing more noise into your recording. Now, this will set a mad vibe, yeah? Especially if you're in a room with a bunch of dudes and you're recording. It's gonna be quite hot and it's gonna be a little bit dim or dark. Not the best vibes if you're not into that, but trust me, it's worth it in terms of the audio quality that you're gonna get from your recording. Step number 5, record your vocals dry. This means do not stamp any effects onto your vocals as you record them in. If you don't understand what the term stamping effects means, let me quickly explain that to you. This is when you record something and you have effects applied to that recording as a permanent effect. For example, if you're using a hardware interface that has compression on it or EQ on it or something of that sort, or if you go into your DAW and you record into a track that automatically applies effects to it that you then can't get rid of later down the line. The reason you don't want to do this is because later on down the line you may want to get rid of those effects. You may want to change those effects. You may want to add different effects that the previous effects now affect. I said affect a lot of times there, but you get what I'm saying, right? You want as much flexibility down the road to edit your vocals as you want. And if you're stamping effects onto your vocals as you record them in, you're getting rid of a lot of that flexibility That's bad vibes. Don't do it. Step number 6 is record in the room with the least amount of reverb. This speaks for itself. You know what I mean here. The reason why this is important is because you want to be able to add reverb that you are. See, the mic was in my face this whole time. I just realized it. You want to be able to add your reverb post-processing. You don't want to force reverb into your vocals because it takes away control. Also, if you have acoustic panels on your wall, like I do over here and over there and over there, which you cannot see, you generally want your vocalist to be facing the acoustic panels. The reason why you want to do this is because when they speak, when they sing, when they rap, when they do whatever, that sound is going to be captured by the acoustic panels and it's not going to reverberate back or reflect back and create that reverb. It's going to create a drier vocal sound. And that's what you want. You want your vocals and you want your recording to be as dry as possible. So later down the line, if you want to add reverb, you can go ahead and add reverb. You can make it swim in reverb if you want, but you don't want it swimming in reverb before you get the chance to tell it to jump in the pool. You get what I'm saying? Good. Now it's time to answer my question from earlier. That question was, what's the most important effect you need to have clean sounding vocals? And this might surprise you because the answer is EQ, yeah? EQ, number one effect for clean sounding vocals. Here's why. EQ gets rid of all the crap you don't need in your vocal sound. You might want your vocals to sound big and boomy and bassy, but trust me, giving yourself a high pass to about 50 hertz is gonna make your vocal sound way cleaner. You don't need all that low end. I thought I needed all that low end. Trust me, you do not. Your voice can sound big and booming and bassy without it. I'm going to have a high pass on this vocal. You won't hear anything below 50 hertz. Generally, I'd go up a little more than that, maybe to like 100 hertz, maybe even 150. Nah, do I go up to 150? Generally 100, but definitely at least to 50, yeah? You wanna cut all of that out. And you wanna cut out around 300 to get rid of some of that muddy tones. I've got a whole video on EQ tips and how to EQ your vocals, so go and watch that. But EQing is super, super important, and it's the one plugin you can't live without. You might think it was compression. No, you can live without compression. You know why? Because you can use volume automation to basically get the same effect that you'd get from compression. You can use volume automation to make your low signals higher, to make your high signals lower, to squash those dynamics and get a compression effect. Pretty much everything else, you can find a way to do it, but EQ, only thing, you can't really find another way to do that. You can't really find another way to take out frequencies and to make your vocals sound cleaner. EQing, most important effect on your vocals. Learn how to EQ. EQ is probably the number one effect you need to understand and learn how to use. It's going to help you out across vocal recording, across mixing in general, just everything really comes down to understanding EQ, understanding frequencies, and then Bob's your uncle. You can add all the other stuff on there, and all the other stuff is generally subjective and taste and uniqueness, basically. So let's recap real quick. Number one, pop shield positioning. Make sure your pop shield is a fist away from your mic. Number two, vocalist positioning. Make sure your vocalist is a fist away from the mic. This is the fist, okay? I'll have B-roll that showed you how that's done, but just letting you know. Number three, how loud should your input levels be? They should be at -12. Your vocals should be hitting -12 as much as possible. Number four, turn off your lights, fans, close your window, anything that's making noise. Turn off your TV. You don't want that making noise in the background. Even if it's muted, it might be giving off a slight hum. Lights give off a slight hum. Outside your window, stuff might be coming in. Sounds that you're not even perceiving might be coming in. Generally, your mic won't really pick that up if you're lucky, but sometimes your mic will. You really just don't want to be introducing noise when you don't have to in it. So if you can, get rid of that. Number five, record your vocals dry. Don't add any effects to it until they've been recorded. Like, you can have effects on the channels as long as they're not actually affecting the vocal signal. As long as you can get rid of those effects and listen to the dry signal, you're good. Number six, record in your room with the least amount of reverb. This is generally going to be your smallest room, okay? You don't want a bunch of reverb going on when you're recording. You want to be able to add that in post. If you got any questions or any other tutorials you want me to make, please let me know in the comment section down below. Check out that video, check out the links in the description. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.